Hey everybody, and welcome to VR Pre-Algebra. We are down to our last week of school, so please make sure you guys are working diligently to finish all of your assignments. If you find yourself pretty far behind, you want to concentrate on the quizzes and tests to bring you up to date. All right, guys, so today our last unit is talking about scatter plots, which we covered, and frequency tables, which we'll go over more today. So we're going to talk about a few tables, and we're going to be able to fill in the blanks, and then we're going to answer some questions just revolving around numbers or percentages. So remember, when you're finding a percent, that is a decimal that is less than 1. You move the decimal over to the right 2 places and you have your percent. And a percent is always out of 100, or if you divide the numerator by the denominator, you get the percentage. I'll show you some examples here. Okay guys, so your assignment today is a Google form on frequency tables. There will be 4 problems and we're going to do 2 together for the most part. And then you'll just have to fill in those answers that we do here today and then solve the other 2 on your own. So here is the Google form. So as always, you're going to put in your name, period. So our first problem that we're going to do takes us to Mariana Middle School, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and it's asking the students, do you play on a sports team or do you not? So there's a couple ways that you could do these frequency tables. Obviously, if there were some blanks here, you could fill in all of the blanks. Okay, for this first example, we wanted you to have all of the answers here before you. So just understanding how to read a frequency table. All right. The first question asks, how many total students were surveyed? So if you go up here, you can easily see the total column and the total column for teams and the total column for grades. And here in the corner it says 638. So that answer should definitely be 638. Second question, the number of 8th graders surveyed that played on a sports team. So go back up. How many 8th graders played on a sports team? Okay, and that answer should definitely be 141. Next question, there were blank 7th grade students surveyed. So we want to go back up to the table. How many 7th grade students were surveyed? So you want to go to the 7th grade row and go all the way over to total. Total 7th graders, 204. Answer here, 204. All right, last one for this problem. Blank students surveyed do not play on a sports team. So again, we're looking at a certain row or column. In this case, it is the do not play on a sports team column. And down at the bottom, the total for 6th, 7th, and 8th was 220. So that answer should be 220. So hopefully that's simple enough. And now these next examples will talk about blanks here that you have to fill out the table, as well as percentages. All right, question number 2 takes us to ice cream. So we have mint chocolate chip, cookies and cream, and cookie dough. So when you're looking at this table, you can see that in the total column, you're only missing the boys, right? So you know the total, you know the girls, you can easily find out the boys. So again, figure out, what you want to do in what order. If you just want to answer the questions, or if you'd like to fill out the table first and then answer all the questions. All right, so we're just going to answer the questions here together. So these are all true, false for this section. All right, there were 196 boys included in the survey. True or false? Were there 196 boys? You're going to have to take the total, 397, and subtract 201 girls, and you'll be able to find out how many boys were surveyed. calculate that for me. And it should be 196. So for this section, totally true. All right, second question. 67 boys prefer cookies and cream. So now that you know how many total boys here, how can we find cookies and cream? So we actually just look at the total, right? Again, we have the total. We know how many girls said cookies and cream. So we just have to take the total and add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Good, we should subtract. So subtract that 59, and what do you get? And for this one, you do not get 67, right? So the answer is false. Okay, next question. A total of 92 students prefer mint chocolate chip. So mint chocolate chip is the total. All right, so 397 total, and then you have 75 other, 128 cookie dough, and 102 cookies and cream. So again, if you take the total and subtract the ones that you know, you will find the mint chocolate chip that is missing. So I'll leave that one for you guys to answer. And 52% of the boys surveyed prefer mint chocolate chip. So here's our first question that involves a percentage. So if there are 52% that prefer mint chocolate chip, then that would be 52 out of 100 surveyed, right? So let's check this out. So if they prefer mint chocolate chip, so you're going to take that answer that you got from the previous question, and then you're going to have to figure out how many girls were with mint chocolate chip. And then you're going to find out that in the end, there actually are 52 boys. So if your total that you got for question C was 100, then yes, that's 52%. But if it's any number other than 100, it is not 52%. Okay? So you would take the number that you get for boys liking mint chocolate chip. And again, I'll just give you a little hint here. It is 52. So divide that number by the total that you get. So that should not be 52%. So your last answer here, letter D, it should end up being false. Please make sure that you solve all of those. I'm leaving letter C to you because that's a simple subtraction problem. All right, but you should be able to figure out if it's not 52 divided by 100, it will actually not be 52%. Okay, so that's it for me. You're going to do sections 3 and 4 on your own. Section 3 is all about percentages. Please take the number of 7th graders that do play football and then divide it by the total, and you would get the percentage of 7th graders who chose football. Okay, so just follow whatever the question says. So let's look at the first one. The percentage of students surveyed are in 6th grade. Okay, so we want the total from 6th grade. So here you have 100, 35 8th graders, 31 7th. So how many 6th graders? You're going to have to subtract. So this is nice and easy because the total is 100. So if your final answer, just going to make this up here, is 40, which it's not, okay? So if there are 40 6th graders out of 100, then that percentage would be 40 divided by 100, which is 0.40, which is 40%. All right, so I hope that makes sense for you on percentages. Please remember that you take the number, divide it by the total, and it will be a decimal less than 1. Take that decimal, move it to the right 2 places, and you have your percent. All right, guys, best of luck. Reach out to me if you need any help. And of course, I'm available on Zoom. I'm going to do some more times for you this week just so I'm more available. I have 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and 3 p.m. So let me know what time works best for you, and I'll be there. Thanks. Have a good night.